size yesterday. You gotta do better than that.
Okay, you ready? We begin. Pirouettes, pirouettes. Come on, straighten up, straighten up. How can you relax in times like these? How can you relax when starting this in rushes? It's all relax and look behind the way and pull it. It's all relax. We're not being we're not just awesome. We're not such big things today. Just pull it. Okay, please. Mrs. Sycamore. What, Reba?
Good evening. How do you do? How do you do? Oh, no. Please, come right in.
Good evening. I'm Mrs. Sycamore.
Yes, we just thought it'd be tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
What? Sorry. No, it's all right. Just come on in. Please make yourselves at home. This is Alice's mother, as you know, Mrs. Sycamore.
Good evening.
This is Alice's sister, Mrs. Carmichael. Mr. Carmichael, Miss Kolenkov, and Mr. DePinna.
How do you do?
Please don't mind the costume. I'll take it right off.
How about you tell Mr. Sycamore that the Kirby's are here?
Yes, if you tell him sure to put his pants on. Thank you. I'd better tell Alice that you're here. Alice! Alice, dear. What is it? Come dinner here. We've got a surprise for you.
Oh, Mrs. Kirby, may I please take your wrap?
Oh, why, thank you if you're perfectly sure.
Oh, Mrs. Sycamore, they're perfectly harmless. They couldn't hurt a thing.
Thank you.
I'd take them to the kitchen.
We're just so used to having them around the house. I'm sorry to trouble you, but snakes happen to be well.
I feel very uncomfortable about this. Tony, how could you possibly have done such a thing? Sorry, I just thought it was nice.
Really, Tony, this is very careless of you. Oh, now anyone can make a mistake.
Yeah. Hey, how about we get some supper for these folks? They didn't come for dinner after all.
Oh, please don't bother. We're really not hungry at all. Oh, it's not a bother at all. Ed! Ed, dear. Ed, tell Donald to run down to the A&P and get, half a dozen bottles of beer and some canned salmon. Do you like canned salmon, Mr. Kirby?
Oh, please don't trouble Mrs. Sycamore. I have a little indigestion anyway.
Oh, I'm so sorry. How about you, Mrs. Kirby? Do you like canned salmon? Oh, I'm very fond of it. You can have frankfurters if you'd rather. Either one will do. All right, well, let's make it frankfurters and some canned corn and Campbell soup. You got all that, Ed? Yeah. Okay, and tell them to hurry. The A&P is just around the corner, and frankfurters don't take any time to boil.
Oh, this is Alice's father, Mr. Sycamore. Mr. and Mrs. Kirby.
How do you do?
I'm okay.
This is Mr. Sycamore's busiest time of the year. Just before the 4th of July, we always leave over. I overlooked before. Oh!
Alice, I'm the most lonely person in the world. I thought it was so nice.
Why, Tony, I thought you... I'm so sorry, I can't imagine, but, have you all met each other?
Yes, indeed.
How do you do, Alice? How do you do, Mrs. Kirby? I'm afraid I'm not presentable. Alice, you look lovely.
Of course she does. Don't let this upset you, my dear. We've all just met each other a night sooner is all.
Of course. But I was planning such a nice party tomorrow night.
Well, we'll come again tomorrow night is all.
There you are, Alice. Am I forgiven?
I guess so. It's just that we'd better see about getting you some dinner. Oh, that's all been taken care of, Alice. That's all that it's to. But Mother, what did you send out for? Because Mr. Kirby suffers from indigestion.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right.
Of
Course it is, Alice.
I asked him what he wanted, Alice, dear. Yes, but...
Oh, now, it's not as serious as all that. Just because I have a little indigestion.
Perhaps it is not indigestion at all, Mr. Kirby. Perhaps it is stomach ulcer. Please.
You can't mind Miss Kolenkov. She's a Russian, and Russians are inclined to look on the dark side.
All right. I am a Russian. But a friend of mine, a Russian, died of stomach ulcers. Miss Kolenkov.
Really,
It's not that he doesn't have stomach ulcers, Miss Kolenkov.
All right, let him wait.
Please make yourself...
thank you.
Well,
Mr. Kirby, how do you find business conditions? Do you think we're pretty well out of the depression?
What? Yes, I suppose. Of course, it all depends.
But do you think that things are going to continue to improve?
Broadly speaking, yes. Actually, as a matter of fact, industry is now running at 60% of its usual capacity, as opposed to 90% in 1925. Of course, in 1929, when I was...
Lydia! Have you met Lydia? Lydia, the tattooed lady. She has eyes that metaphor.
Well, that may seem rather strange to you folks, but it's really not her fault. A friend of Mrs. Sycamore, she came over for dinner, was overcame by the heat.
Oh, yes, some people feel it so much more than others. I better go see if she's all right. Excuse me, please. It is awfully hot.
You usually escape all this hot weather, don't you, Mrs. Kirby, up in Maine?
Well, as a rule, I had to come down this week, however, for the flower show.
Yes. That balloon was the high point of fun this year. Should have missed that show for the world.
I won a blue ribbon at a flower show once for raising onions. Remember, Alice? That was a garden show, Essie. Right.
Well, I think she'll be just all right. Has Donald come back yet?
No, he hasn't.
Well, he'll be back very soon, and dinner won't be any time at all. I'm afraid he must be starved.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. Hello, what's this? I didn't know there were small children in the house.
Oh, no. That's mine.
Really? Well, I suppose every man has his hobby. Or do you use it as a model of some sort?
Nope. I just played with it. See.
Well, maybe you'd be better off if you had a hobby like that, Dad, instead of raising orchids.
Yes, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, do tell us about your orchids, Mr. Kirby. You know they take 6 years to blossom, don't they? Think of that.
Some even take longer than that. I have this one orchid I've been waiting 10 years for.
I was waiting for an orchid once.
Yes. Of course, during which time they required the most scrupulous care.
Donald!
I remember this...
Donald, did you get everything?
Yes, ma'am, only they didn't have any frankfurters, so I got pickled pig's feet.
Never mind, Donald. Just send everything into the kitchen. I'm so sorry, everyone. Mr. Kirby, do tell them all about the orchids. I know they'd love to hear it. Excuse me.
Rather expensive hobby, isn't it? Raising orchids.
Yes, but I feel that if a hobby gives one sufficient pleasure, it's never expensive.
That's very true.
You see, I need something to relieve the daily nerve strain. After a week at Wall Street, I'd go crazy if I didn't have something like my orchids. Some men I know have yachts for that very same reason.
Why don't you give up Wall Street?
How's that?
I'm just joking, Mr. Kirby.
Well, I think it's necessary for everyone to have a hobby. Of course, it's more to me than a hobby, but my great solace is spiritualism. Spiritualism? Come now, Mrs. Kirby. Everyone knows that's a fake. Well, to me, Mrs. Kirby, I mean, spiritualism is, well, very important to me.
Remember, Penny, you have one or two hobbies of your own.
Yes, but not silly ones.
I think what's important is that one has a hobby, not what one's hobby is.
I personally think that the hobby should improve the body as well as the mind. The Romans were great people. Why? What was their hobby? Wrestling. Wrestling was act quick with the body and think quick with the mind.
Yes, but I'm afraid wrestling isn't practical for most of us. I wouldn't make a very good showing as a wrestler.
You would be a great wrestler, Mr. Carvey.